If your older daughter had wanted to see the birth of your younger daughter, what would you have said to her?
Well, of course, now I would probably say something much different, but at that time, it was a time when women didn't ask a lot of questions, at least Stepford wives like me didn't ask a lot of questions, and the thought never occurred to me that my older daughter would have wanted to be at the birth. It just was something that I just never thought of. So had she asked me at that time, I probably would have said no, only because my mind was so unopened and so inflexible and just so set on a certain way of having a birth that I probably wouldn't have thought about it. Now today, if I were to get pregnant today and there was still that gap in time, I have to admit I would have to think about it. It depends on the sibling. It definitely depends on the sibling. I don't think it's necessary, honestly and truly, I really don't think it's necessary for a child to have to be there to appreciate a sibling. In fact, I kind of like sort of the mystery that, mom left and there wasn't a baby, and mom comes back and there is a baby.
How do you explain that?
Well, I think that they should have been, talked to about it all during the time the mom was pregnant. Once she said, I'm pregnant, and if the child was old enough to understand, then she can explain and not, it's in mommy's tummy, it's in mommy's uterus, and it's a new baby, and you could even show pictures. But I don't, honestly and truly, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that the sibling has to be there to appreciate that they have another baby in the family. I really don't see where it adds to it. But as I say, I could be wrong. And I wouldn't say to my child that you can't do it if they asked. But I would think just asking about it would give a signal that they might be ready to be there. Now, is this just a female child or a male child?
Either or.
I just think it should take a lot of thought before it's done.
What's the difference between a female and a male child?
Because,
being there.
I don't know, it's just, I think for either one, but especially for a male, I don't know, just seeing the mother with with her intimate area there.
Vagina?
Now, I hope you're going to edit this because now I look like a moron. So you better, Sarah. I think some things are meant to be private and intimate. They don't have to be opened up to the entire family. Having said that, everybody has his or her own way of dealing with things. And if enough thought is put into it, and if the parents feel their child is ready, I think it could be a positive experience, but I honestly don't think it has to be done. That's my feeling.
I was at my sister's birth. She's 4 years younger than me, so I was 4 years old, and that was at a hospital in Wisconsin, and the doctor who delivered her was the doctor who delivered all of us, and it was our healthcare provider until we were older, so I knew him from the office. And we went into the hospital in the afternoon with our friend Lucy. My mom invited her to be like support person / babysitter. And that's when my mom she was still laboring, and I remember fanning her off with a magazine, and my mom kept thinking that I was trying to hand it to her. Like, Mom, do you want to read this? And she was trying to be really nice, and but she kept swatting it away. And I was really trying to fan her off. And then when my sister was born, my brother was right next to the doctor, looking in between her legs, and he kept saying, "Boy, there's a lot of blood. Boy, Dr. Walker, there's a lot of blood." The way they wrapped her up, she had her hand right here, and you know how babies are all squished up and make funny faces, and she kept making a funny face. She was probably rooting, but I remember my brother and I really noticing that, and we said that it's probably because my dad farted, and she thought it was stinky. So I don't know if being at her birth really affected our relationship very much. She came into my life when I was 4, and I remember being very jealous of her, very, very jealous when she came home and not really liking her very much. However, now that we're older and I'm sort of not as shallow, I guess, I appreciate her more. She is still a sweetheart. She's an extremely smart woman, and I feel like now that she just had a baby in October, I really thought a lot about her birth. And I don't know, I think it's special that I'm a midwifery student and I could talk to her about her birth in that aspect, but I really thought and talked to her about, like, it was really fun being at her birth. So I don't know if it changed my relationship with her, but it definitely gave me something to think about, and I'm more appreciative of it now that she's a mom herself.
When I was 3 years old, not even 3, I was 2 years and 9 months, and I was at my sister's birth, and that is the reason that I'm in midwifery school now. I was totally obsessed with watching the birth. I watched the entire thing. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. And then the first thing that I said after she came out was, "There's no penis," because we all thought she was a boy. And the second thing that I said after she came out was, "Where's the placenta?" Because they had told me about the whole thing. I knew what was going on. So I think everybody kind of had an eye on me. I think her friend was sort of in charge of keeping me occupied. We baked a birthday cake. But I totally wanted to be there for the actual birth.
And if you had kids of your own, would you have them be at subsequent births?
Absolutely.
Well, every day everybody gets a turn to have a baby.
Where is this, in school? And what happens? What does the person who's having the baby do?
Well, first you have to lay down either on a pillow or a bed.
Okay.
And then the person has to push, and then the baby comes out, and then we just put her in the bath and then go. That's all we have to do.
This is the first day of my life. Swear I was born right in the doorway. I went out in the rain, suddenly everything changed. They're spreading blankets on the beach. Yours is the first face that I saw. I think I was blind before I met you. And I don't know where I am, I don't know where I've been, but
You just relaxing and maxing right now?
Yes, I am.
As a father,
Yeah.
what's your opinion on having
Are you
a...
recording this?
No.
You're lying.
What's your...
I'm not gonna do it if you're gonna tell me.
That is it, young lady. I've had just about enough.
Have you changed your mind about siblings in the labor room?
No.
Can you talk about the association between midwives and bacon?
What? I don't know what that means. You'll have to help me with that one. What does bacon have to do with midwives?